Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, and I'm in a new space finally. I want to apologize first. It's been, since I moved in here, I haven't done anything. Like, I haven't done makeup on my face, I haven't recorded any videos, I haven't done anything. I've been like trying to settle and move in and get ready and find a space for it, and kind of wild that, you know, I don't have my gray wall behind me anymore. Instead, I have a nice little doorstop, but we'll sit right in front of that. I'm still figuring out the lighting and everything, so this video might be a little funky, but I just wanted to do like a little get ready with me and talk about moving and talk about 2023. I'm gonna start with primer today, and I'm using the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base because I went out today grocery shopping and I put on a little makeup to do that, so I just took all of it off, and I want something that almost works as like a moisturizer as well as a primer, and I feel like this stuff is that essentially. You can definitely wear this on its own, like it is a primer, but I feel like it's also a moisturizer at the same time. So yeah, guys, I moved. It's super weird, you know. After my mom passed away, it just felt weird living in the same space without her, and so I really sort of kind of gung-ho looked for an apartment. I was applying to lotteries, I was like just looking on like Street Easy and apartments.com and all that stuff, and you know, with what my salary is at my full-time job, it felt daunting. For foundation today, I'm going to use the Urban Decay Hydromaniac foundation. I'm in the shade 20 Fair. A little of this goes a long way. So, you know, I had like 2 months to prep, but you know, within those 2 months was Thanksgiving, Christmas, and my mom always made it like a point to have like really big Christmases. It was her favorite holiday. So like, I truly didn't even think about or like start to pack for moving until the week before I moved. And then it kind of just all happened, you know? It was packing up my entire room. It was buying things that I might need for the apartment. It was like doing all the Christmas stuff, because this year I did it all, you know, what my mom would do, I did. I took it upon myself. For concealer, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. So I took on like almost the responsibilities that my mom had once had. It ended up being a really good Christmas still. It was weird. You know, it's weird. I feel like a lot of people have lost loved ones in these last few years, where I can just say like the first big holiday, especially their favorite holiday, because like Thanksgiving was weird without my mom, but Thanksgiving was never a big holiday for my family. Christmas without my mom was just weird. It was like I was almost waiting for her to come in the room. I was almost waiting for her to just show up. And she just, you know, wasn't there, so it was hard. But we got through it, and I think it was a really nice Christmas for what it was. And then I started packing. So I've been moved in here for a few weeks. It's been great. I've definitely been like, I've never been on my own before. I had been talking about moving out for a while, but once my mom got diagnosed with cancer, I kind of stopped looking, because for me, I was like, what's the point of me looking for an apartment that's far away from her when I could just be with her? And, you know, when she got the cancer diagnosis, she was still using oxygen and needed a lot of help, so it just didn't make sense for me to look for an apartment. So I had always wanted to move out by the time I was like 25. So I'm 26, so I only missed it by a year, but, you know, I definitely think if my mom was still alive, I would still be at home caring for her, because for me, like, the most important thing was spending time with her. So sorry, I'm gonna not cry in one of these videos, but I did it, you know, like, I hit my goal, I moved out, and I'm just learning to live on my own. So far, like, really nice. Definitely like a learning curve. I think it's what I needed. I'm gonna take the Nude Sticks Tinted Blur Sculpt Stick. I have the shade Nude Neutral Light, and I'm gonna contour with this. I've been loving this product, and I'm not a big contour person. I'm also gonna blend that in with the Persona Cosmetics Blush Highlight Power Brush. They have a few different ones. I know I raved about them in an Instagram video, but they're truly so good. And this contour stick. I'm never a person to draw on contour or bronzer, and I feel like I can. This is so malleable, but it dries like a satin. It's very interesting. So yeah, you know, I just feel like I have been trying to settle in so much that I haven't had time to do makeup. And also, like, you know, being away from my family has been hard because, you know, there's still grief. And, you know, for anyone who's lost someone this year, I truly don't know when the grief process will not be over, because I know it'll never be over, but it feels like it comes in waves right now. Like, I could be doing great one day, and then one day it just hits me and it knocks me over, and it's like, what? And I feel like, you know, since I've been moved out, it's just felt like that. I did feel like a little bit of guilt for moving out and kind of like abandoning my dad and my brothers. But overall, like, and it sucks putting yourself first, especially like after something like this. Like, I didn't want to put myself first. It felt selfish to put myself first. I know when I told my dad I was moving out, he was happy for me, he was nervous for me, he was nervous in general. And I think he was nervous of like, what's gonna happen. There's just some times where you have to put yourself first, and so this was mine, and I put myself first. I moved out. Or I'd rather have to strictly budget and be on my own than be in the house without my mom. Oh, I'm so sorry. For bronzer, I'm using the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. This is in the shade Tan Lines, even though they don't have the name on it. This is, I think, one of the lightest shades, if not the lightest shade. You know, coming into 2023, like, I think I put a lot of expectations on what this year is gonna mean for me. I really this year still like want to sell the pilot I've been working on with my co-writer and co-creator. I'm still submitting it to festivals. You know, we got quarterfinalists for 2 different festivals this last year with a draft that I felt was not as strong as the one I'm currently submitting. Like, I guess I don't know if I've talked about like the fact that I'm a screenwriter. I'm a critical writer. I'm also, okay, so I'm a dramaturg on top of like being a writer. So when we read back a draft of what we've written, I automatically am like, I don't know about this one. We had gotten notes professionally right as my mom was getting really ill. Obviously I didn't know she was going to get really ill, but like right as my mom was in the hospital a lot. So I got the notes, and the notes were really blunt, but like sometimes you just need it to be a little blunt, because if it's not, then you're not making your best piece of work, and how are you supposed to improve if you don't like genuinely talk about critique in like a really constructive way. Like, I think, you know, as a dramaturg myself, critique is not meant to be hateful or harmful or, you know, to put a writer down. It's simply to make the work better, and I feel like I critique stronger with work that I think has more promise, because you can tell right away if like a work has promise to it. And like all the feedback that we had been getting about The Outliers, which is my pilot, was that like, keep going. It needs work, keep going. Like, we had gotten some before that was like about a page or 2 of notes. This one was like 6 pages, and it went into everything. Plot, character, storyline, sellability, all of that. And it was really encouraging to me that we got so many notes, because I was like, there's so much to work on. Like, there's so much that we can make this piece. So when I started feeling better about my mom and her passing, I really just threw myself into this new draft, and I was really proud to bring it to my co-creator and be like, what do you think? And then we did a little reading with just my friends and people that like I trust deeply with unfinished work, because I thought another draft was going to come from that, and a few things did come from that. But, you know, like an unfinished quote unquote work, and I had people in the room that I thought would give me the feedback I needed to take it to the next step. And I was really shocked and surprised by how much people liked the draft as it is, and how little people had to say, like how little critiques I was given or feedback or anything. It was just like, this is so good. And like, I had a reading of it about a year and a half ago, I look at that draft and I'm just like, I'm a little embarrassed about that one. But it just shows that like you can grow as a writer, you can grow as an actor, you can always grow, and always just write it, because you know, you never know. So getting quarterfinalist with a draft that I thought was okay made me feel like this draft was semi-finalist or finalist material. The thing with screenwriting is like, when you're a playwright, you can find plenty of opportunities to submit to for free. Screenwriting, everything's like pay to play. So we enter competitions and it's usually about $50 per competition, but sometimes for like the big name ones, the ones you really definitely want to enter, it's more like $75, $80, and that's just a lot of money, especially if like you're not gonna place. And then once you do place, what do you do? So it's like, I'm trying to figure out that next part. I've placed twice. What do? I didn't go to school for this. I went to school for history and theater, and hence like why dramaturging works, because it's like the mix of history and theater. But I definitely did not go to school for screenwriting, so I feel like I've Googled a few different steps. My blush, I'm so sorry I didn't say this before, my blush is Bohemian Rose, the Nudies Bloom from Nude Sticks. So I'm trying to figure that out. I'm Googling a whole bunch. I'm gonna use for highlight the Knobless Skin Glazing in the shade Ozone. I mean, it was my 2022 favorites, and I think it was my 2021 favorite too, and I doubt something will beat this highlight. So yeah, it's just figuring that out, and you know, trying to figure out how to write in a new place, try to get inspired, try to figure out what to do. I do want to write a feature by myself and then a short by myself as well, because I feel like a good portfolio for me to like submit places for like a screenwriter, they always have those 3 in their back pocket, or 2 pilots and a short or whatever, but I wanted one of each. I feel like I'm on the right track. Okay, for eyes I'm gonna use a few different palettes. I'm gonna start with this Natasha Denona Coral palette, and I'm gonna dip into this red shade. I had this in my head while I was painting my nails. This is Lights Lacquer's Libra, and they're like a really shiny red, like jelly red. So I have an idea in my head. We'll see how it goes. So I'm just gonna take a little tiny brush, dip into this shade so that it's pretty saturated. This is Yoshi. Hi. Say hi. Look at the sweetest little baby girl. You my sweetest little dude. I love you. I love you so much. Say hi. Okay. She said that's enough. Okay, cool. Okay, my idea, I'm gonna tell you guys before I do it. My idea is to have this like sharp eyeshadow red that goes kind of all the way around here, right? Sharp liner almost, kind of goes into a liner. And then I'm gonna take a really bright something, shimmery something, no, matte something, yes, okay. Figuring this out as I go along. I'm gonna take a really pretty bold matte shade here and blow it out. And then I'm gonna glitterify the whole lid. That's kind of a cool shape. I didn't mean to do that. I'm using a Lavish brush. I never mentioned the brushes I use, but just in case. So this is an eyeshadow that I'm just going in and building up intensity with. So I'm just building it up, and what I love about eyeshadows is that they're like really, really, really malleable. So I really want to wing these both so they're pretty sharp. So I'm just drawing it out with this little tiny brush first, getting this shape, especially since my eyelids are hooded. I just want to make sure the shape looks good before I go in with like a flat brush and define it more. Very cool. So that's the shape we're going for. So I really want to lean into YouTube and Instagram and stuff, because like it's just been a really healthy way for me to process my grief, and it's been really nice to just have an outlet to be creative. Since I use makeup as like a form of therapy, I definitely get more out of it right away. Like I do a look and I'm like, this is really cool. I feel happy. Now I have a different space, like I like the lighting. much more. I feel like it really does like elevate things. I want to do it more, so I'm trying to make YouTube a priority for this year coming up. This eye's a little shaped differently than this one, so I'm going to combat that on this side with this one by starting down more in my lash line, my lower lash line, and bringing that up so it more closely mimics this side and this side. I'm going to take a little flat brush. This is from Alamar. If it had a number, it's no longer there. I'm just going to pat that into the red, and I'm going to just press it into my lid to start and then blend it out so that I don't have any fallout. I'm just going to kind of fill in the area there. Some goals I have for 2023 I'll share with you. Obviously, I want to get the outliers moved to something. I don't know what. I would love for it to just get picked up, but I feel like that's just not how things work nowadays. But I would love to get it picked up. I'm gonna manifest that it just gets picked up, like someone in this competition reads it and is like, holy shit, and picks it up. I also really want to get to a screenwriting fellowship, and I've applied to a few. I'm gonna go in with this Nabla Cosmetics little quad palette, and I'm gonna go into this shade here, which I think is Muses. Yes, it's a pressed glitter palette. Nabla is a brand that I just keeping a lookout for, and when I was putting on this nail polish, this specific shade like reminded me of the nail polish, so I'm just gonna press that on top of the red. Yeah, this is kind of exactly what I was looking for, because like this glitter is like a red base, but it's also like kind of bluey. I'm gonna take a little flat brush. This is from Wet n Wild. Again, if it had a number I would tell you, but it doesn't. Put a bunch of product into this brush and just press it on the areas where I can't do it with my finger. Boom, that's beautiful. Okay, so that is like the base of the eye. I'm just gonna take a bright color, a bright matte color. So I have the Ace Beauty Nostalgia palette here, and it's full of bright colors. What do I want to do? The most daring option is to use the shade Theme Park here, and I think I'm gonna do it. I'm taking this really tiny Luxie brush. This is a 237 blending. I'm just gonna take a very little bit. These are pigmented shadows, so I'm gonna tap off the excess and just kind of like, ooh. Take a little brush. This is a Luxie mini flat angled, because that first one didn't have enough. And I'm just going to kind of drag that. Why does this remind me of a Hot Wheels car? And then with that same brush, I'm just gonna put a little bit right over here on the lower lash line and kind of blend it. So that is what we're gonna do with the eyes. I'm gonna leave it like that. I don't wanna go too far. Don't wanna do too much. All right, I'm just gonna finish up the rest of the face then. I'm going to use the ColourPop Brow Boss Brow Gel in my brows. This was, again, my 2022 favorites. Also my 2021 favorite, and I think it's been a favorite since they launched this 2018. Am I gonna date myself? Was it 2018? Oh my God, I don't remember. I'm gonna wait for that to set, and while it does, I'm gonna do the lip. So I took the ColourPop Lippy in Oh Snap, and I also took the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in BFF3. We're gonna see how this works. I've never used this pencil before. Taking the lightest hand with this shade. What a nice shade. I'm taking the e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil in the shade Neutral Brown. I love this brow pencil because I feel like it is as good as like a Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil, which I've tried, but it's actually neutral. I feel like Benefit, I have a tough time getting like actually neutral products. A lot of brunette products run red, and not everyone's brunette hair is red toned. I'm using the Tower 28 Make Waves mascara. This is the finished look. I'm gonna zoom in a little closer for y'all. I really like how this turned out. I'm really proud of it. So subscribe if you want to. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all the same name. I don't really do TikToks like that anymore. I do plan on getting back into like history TikToks, but it's a lot of research and I just don't have a lot of time. I also really want to revive my podcast, but we'll see. Anyway, subscribe if you want to. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.